So I'm going to go back to edit content types, date, citing, edit. Actually, you notice we have a new option here called manage fields. And I don't want to click edit. I want to click manage fields because CCK is what lets us add fields to content types besides the regular title and body. So let's add a new field and we'll call it date. Date. And the field type is date. The date module that we enabled is what lets us pick date here. And I'm just going to put text field. So let's save it. And we'll put the default value as now. We can leave all the other defaults as they are. Let's make it required. So added field date. Okay. And let's just look at our citing content type and verify that we have a date field now and see what that looks like. Okay, so now down here at the bottom, we have a place to put in the date, which is what we want. Okay, and the last thing that we want to make this useful is the ability to add a location. And back when I enabled all those modules, one of the modules that I enabled was the location module. And this lets us put in cool Google Maps, attach a latitude and longitude to our citing. So let's go ahead and do configure our location module. Well, the first thing that I need to do is configure the Gmap module. And the Gmap module is what lets me put in cool Google Maps. And to use Google Maps, you need an API key. And I've got one, they're free, but I don't want you to see it. So I'm going to kind of do it off the screen here. So bear with me here while I pull up my key and paste it in there. Okay. Okay, and we're just going to leave all the Gmap settings at default. So let me
you got a coffee cup like me, you can just set the coffee cup in front of the projector.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm also recording the screen, so I have to move it off. Yeah, Google gives you an API key for free. You just have to sign up for it. And I just don't want a broadcast over the internet.
Right. I forgot we were recording.
Yeah. And so default map settings, I don't want it centered on Europe. I'm just going to drag it over to the US so people see a US map. And then save that. And drag it off the screen so you can't see my API key. Okay. So let's go back to the administer section. Now let's go to the location setup. When you install a module, every module does something different. Usually if it's configurable, it will create a menu under the administration menu for you to set it up, just like that Gmap. So I'm going to go to my location setup. And I'm going to allow people to use a Google map to set latitude and longitude. Okay. Save that configuration. And last, change we're going to do to our citing content type is allow people to attach a location. So let's go to our content management, content types. We're adding a location to our citing content type, so I'm just going to do edit. Down here at the bottom, the location module adds these extra options for locative information, locative information, I don't know. And so I am going to say number of locations. Right now it's between 0 and 1, but I'm going to put it between 1 and 1. Save our content type. So hopefully now we've got our citing content type all finished. You can put in the type of aliens, a description of the sighting, the date it occurred, and a location. And so that's a pretty complete description of an alien sighting, I would say. So let's go ahead and just create one for fun. Type of ET, Dave Mon, because we just cited him. And so we'll just say he walked into the fwlug meeting late as usual. So we've got a date here. Let's put in a location. You can name the location, put in the street address, but I'm just going to click on the map. Let's zoom in here. We're right around here somewhere. Does that look about right?
Pretty close.
Pretty close. Good enough. So clicking on the map, put on our latitude and longitude. And so we'll just save that sighting. Okay, and so we've actually created our first bit of content. And by default, Drupal displays content in kind of a blog style. You know, it displays the most recent first. And so we've got our sighting displayed here. We can click on it. And it's pretty boring, isn't it? We could create some kind of custom theme to make this look pretty. But right now I'm more interested in just getting the information displayed where we want it.
When you say theme, are you talking like the whole background could have an image?
Yeah. You could create, and I'm not really going to talk about themes at all in this presentation, but you can create little bits of HTML in files, and Drupal is going to, you know, look at those HTML files and put it into the site according to how you want. Let's just click on the Google Maps link to verify that indeed it does give us a link to Google Maps. And I guess I clicked kind of close to where we are, but not quite. So users can create these sightings. Sightings have a location and all that. But what would be really useful is if users could see a list of sightings near them. And to do that, first of all, users have to be able to say where they are. So let's configure the location module to allow users to set their own location.
Had you previously created tables in the database as is how these fields fit in?
That all happens automatically. When you install Drupal and when you install the modules, they create all the database tables for you. So you don't really have to know anything about the database in order to use it. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to change users to be able to set their own location. So I'm going to go to user settings. And the location module gives me this user locations area, number of locations between 1 and 1. So let's save that. So now users can set their location, and the way they do that is through the My Account link. So I'm just going to set the administrator location. Let's edit it and complain about my slow computer. So I'm going to set the location of the administrator. You know, close is good enough. I'm just going to click on Fort Worth there, because I live downtown, so that's pretty close. Okay. And another thing the Gmap module gave us is this link to user locations. It's going to show a map with the location of all the users, and it looks like it's centered on Europe, but let's go over to the North America. And so now I've got one user in the middle of Texas. It says admin, so that's what I wanted. Okay, and so what we wanted to do was let people see a list of those sightings near them. So let's generate a bunch of dummy sightings just so we can see how it would work. And that develop module that I enabled back there lets you generate content for site testing so you can see what it'll look like with a bunch of content. So we're going to generate some content. We just want sighting nodes. Let's generate 200 nodes. We want taxonomy terms. We want locations. So let's go ahead and generate them. Yeah, it's going to make random locations, random text. Yeah, it'll generate everything in the node. So 200 nodes created successfully. So let's go back to our front page. You can see now there's a ton of sighting nodes. And it fills it in with this Latin text just so we can see what it looks like with text. Let's look at this node locations map. This is provided by the locations module. And we should see our map light up with all these sightings. Okay, so now there are all these sightings randomly placed all over the world. And so we've got a few in North America, that's good. But you can tell the Earth is mostly water, so most of them are in the ocean. Okay, so we've got our dummy content. So let's create a way to list the content based on location. The way that you suck nodes out of the database according to criteria is through the views module. So let's just go to views. Let's see, I need content management. Or views, maybe it's under site building. Okay. You know, maybe I didn't enable views in the module, so let me go back to the module list. Okay, I've got views. Oh, I forgot to enable the views user interface. Yep. It says without this module you cannot create or edit your views. Well, we need it. Okay, so now under site building we have views. Now views is pretty complicated, and we're only going to scratch the surface. What views does is it enables you to create a view, which is really like a